Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Basics with Blaine. This time we're going to be looking a little bit more at the workings of collective, how the cards actually work, things like affinities, ticks, keywords, hookwords, things like that. So if that's what you're looking for, you've found the right video. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into the deck workshop, and I'm just going to try to go over keywords to start off with. I'm basically just going to be going down the list, so if you have any questions or stuff, throw them down in the comments below, and I'll gladly make a video addressing any of those. So we'll just start off with ambush real quick. Ambush is a pretty simple keyword. Just look at the core set card that covers it. So ambush, it says this unit can block the turn that you play it. So any card in collective, normally, the turn that you play it, it can't do anything. It can't use any of its abilities. It can't attack. It can't block. There are a couple of keywords that modify that, ambush being the first one. And so ambush, it doesn't let it attack, doesn't let it use any abilities, but it does let it block the turn that you play it. So any card that has ambush, as soon as you drop it, that turn when you get to the blocking phase, you will be allowed to block with that card. So, and that actually works whether it's summoned through just playing the card, or if it's summoned by, like, let's say an action. So there's actually one called Spider Glider, which I might have just missed on that last screen. Oh yeah, I probably just have to search Spider Glider because it doesn't say ambush on there. So as you can see, Spider Glider summons 3 web wall spiders, and those will all actually be able to block that turn as well when they are summoned. Alright, so that's ambush. It's a pretty simple, straightforward keyword. Alright, let's look at duelist. So duelist is something that, if you're familiar with Hearthstone, essentially gives a card the Hearthstone attacking, where it gets to choose what it attacks. But the interesting thing about duelist is that it doesn't happen during the attack phase. It happens during the play phase. So like when normally you would play cards and your cards would resolve, that is when duelist takes place. So duelist says this can attack an enemy unit directly. So how duelist works, and I'll try to show you all these in this video as well. So duelist, basically you would just select another unit for this unit to attack, and then during the play phase it will attack it directly. It still takes damage as normal, but you know, they don't get to choose the blockers, they don't get to choose to take it to face. The unit just gets to attack it directly. Now one thing important to notice is that it is enemy units. You cannot attack the enemy's face directly or the enemy's hero directly. It can only be used to attack other units. Next we have regenerate. So regenerate, very simple effect. So in this game, cards do not get their health back at the end of the turn. So if, for instance, this unkillable Kudzu took 3 damage at the end of the turn, normally it would be a 2-2, and it would stay that way until the next turn. But because it has regenerate, at the end of the turn it goes back to 5 health as long as it doesn't take more than 5 in that turn. So unless you reduce a regenerate creature or a unit to 0, it will go back up to 5 at the end of the turn. So really simple keyword again, basically just heals back to full every turn as long as it did not take more than its full health and die, essentially. Next keyword we're going to look at is rebound. Rebound's a pretty cool one. Trying to find something with just rebound without a lot of other text on there. Here we go, giant frog. So he's a big frog with rebound. So rebound is essentially like you get to play this card twice. So when it goes to the discard the very first time, as it says here, you return it to your hand and it loses rebound. So it's kind of like a card advantage thing where you get to play this card again, guaranteed. So you get to play this card twice. It's the same mana both times, and it loses the rebound, you know, the second time that you play it. But yeah, it's basically a card that you get to play twice. It's kind of like a free draw of that card, essentially. Alright, let's move on to the next one. We have untargetable. Untargetable is one of those keywords that it's pretty much all right there in the name. It basically means that it can't be targeted. It says it can't be targeted or chosen by actions or abilities. So anything that lets you pick what it targets can't be done to an untargetable unit. That means enemy units as well as your own. So like if you wanted to put a buff on your own fire ant, because it is untargetable, you could not put a buff on your fire ant, at least one that targeted directly Now, things that affect the whole board can still affect untargetable things, like if you play a card that destroys all units, it will still destroy an untargetable unit. If you play something that gives all units +3/+3, then your untargetable units would still get +3/+3. It's just those single targets that it actually affects. After untargetable, we have, we'll just go ahead and do deadly, because deadly's on this ant as well. Deadly, in a lot of games, it's called like poisonous. It basically just means that no matter how much health an enemy unit has, if it does damage to it, it will die. So deadly just basically is an auto kill, and it doesn't matter if it dies also. So if this fire ant, this 1/1 fire ant, was to fight this 7/6 submerged predator, they would both die, because that one poisonous or deadly damage, would be enough to kill it. Alright, let's see. Our next one is ward. Sorry, I keep tabbing out to look at my list of keywords here. And ward is a lot like Divine Shield, if you're familiar with Hearthstone, except it doesn't work on damage. So ward essentially cancels out one effect. And I guess I'm just reading off the tooltip now here. Ward cancels the effect of one enemy action, active ability, or triggered ability on this unit. So whereas untargetable just wouldn't let you pick that unit as a target, with ward, if it is picked as a target, that effect just gets canceled. And that works on only enemy effects. So unlike untargetable, you can target this with a buff and it will still get it. It doesn't cancel friendly effects, it only cancels enemy effects and effects from enemy cards. So that's ward. Next up in the list we have flying. So flying is a lot like unblockable, where it's hard to block. We haven't gone over unblockable yet, but with flying, it just means it can only be blocked by other units with flying. And there is kind of a little hack around that. Leap, which is not an official keyword, it's actually one that I made, but there's 2 cards in the game with leap now, so I will mention it just for the sake of it, which basically these cards, if they don't attack, they can trade their attack to get flying during the blocking phase so that they can block other flying creatures. But yeah, basically flying can only be blocked by creatures with flying, and leap means if they don't attack, then they get flying to block with. So that one's real simple as well. This list still has exemplar, but that has actually been removed if I remember correctly. Yeah, so no exemplar anymore, so you guys don't have to worry about that one. Overrun. So overrun, if I can spell over and run, here we go, is a pretty easy one. It reminds me a lot of trample from Magic the Gathering. I'm trying to see if we have we don't have just an overrun unit, so I guess we'll just look at this one here. So he says overrun. Overrun, when blocked, this unit deals excess damage to the defending player. So how does that work? Basically, if the unit with overrun has more attack than the creature or the unit that's blocking it has defense, then anything extra it's going to do to the enemy. So if this 5 attack attacked this 4 defense, then 1 extra overrun damage would go to the enemy hero. And that happens whether or not the overrun creature dies. So, if it was to attack into like a 10 attack, 1 health creature, so it would do 4 damage of overrun and still die. But even if it dies, the overrun damage goes through. We've got unblockable. Unblockable is exactly what it sounds like. It cannot be blocked. So it's not like flying, where it can be blocked by other unblockables. It just means it cannot be blocked no matter what. When it comes to the block phase, that creature can't be blocked. If you watch my other Basics with Blaine episode, you will see me be unable to block Minor Demon quite a few times. And then lastly, we have Agile. I call Agile the opposite of Ambush, because instead of being able to block the turn that you played, Agile means that you are able to attack the turn that you played. So just like with Ambush, you can't use any other abilities or anything special like that. Agile just means the turn that you play it, it can attack, and that works whether it's summoned through regular means or if it's summoned by an action or something like that. Speaking of actions, those are the two kinds of cards. I mentioned this a little bit in my first basics videos. We have units and we have actions. So units are easy to discern because they'll have a defense and an attack value at the bottom, and actions do not. On top of that type of cards, there are also 3 affinities of cards, and then there are also neutral cards. So we'll go over those real quick. So neutral cards cost the same for everybody. So right now I have Ashgertie selected. She is a blue hero or a mind hero. And so for her, all the blue cards will be at their normal cost. So this tick mark doesn't matter if you're the same color of your hero. So blue cards are all their base price for Ashgertie. So this speediest boy here, he's a 1 mana 1/1, and he cost 1 mana for me to play in game. So if I was to play him in game, that would cost me 1 mana. Now, if I was to go to a different colored hero, like let's say I switch over to Baluk here, and I want to add that same, oh, I started a game, my bad, I should have clicked Deck Workshop. We'll just concede out of that real quick. And if we want to add that same card, Speediest Boy, that was a 1 mana 1/1 for blue, if we want to add that to our Baluk deck, you'll notice that it is now a 2 mana card. And why is that? That's because of this thing called the tick system. So cards that are a different color from the hero that you're playing. So as you can see, Baluk is a green hero. They're going to have their price increased by however many ticks are on the side of the card. So I'm going to run back over real quick to Ashgertie. Alright, we're going to go back to our deck here. And we're going to go to only blue cards. Alright, so you can see all these are 1 tick, 1 tick, 1 tick, 1 tick. So that means if they were played by Baluk, the green hero, or maybe one of the red heroes, or one of the other, there's 2 green heroes as well, they would cost 1 more. Let me see if I can find one with more than 1 tick. Most people are pretty okay with just 1 tick. Now here's something special. This has a ring around it with no ticks. That's called exclusive, and that means that no other colors can even use that card. So only mind or blue heroes can use the Combat Analyst because it is an exclusive card. Trying to see real quick. There's another exclusive right there, Keeper of the Meek. If there's any, normally you'll see lots of ticks up with the more expensive cards, like with this one. You can see Zolglom here has 2 ticks, so he would cost 12 mana for a green or a red hero. Same with Archmage Melitus, he would cost 12 mana for a red or a green hero. So that's the way the tick system works. And now when you're making a deck, you can actually see all the colors. The only thing you won't be able to see is an exclusive card from another color, obviously, because you can't use those. You can't add those to your deck because they are exclusive. But the costs have already been figured up for you. So if you scroll through here and you see, like, this green card is normally a 1 mana card with 1 tick, but it's already up to that cost of 2 for you. And you'll notice that it's been up because it'll be a slight red color. And that slight red color is how you know that that cost is more than normal. You can look at that tick and you see, oh, this is 1 more cost than it normally is. But you're still allowed to add it to your deck. If I want that in my deck, I can just add it to my deck, no trouble. So I've got those in my deck now, but instead of costing 1, for me, you can hover over and see they're going to cost 2. Trying to think if there's anything else with the tick system that you need to know. Cards that generate other cards, most people will make those so that they are neutral, because if you'll notice, neutral cards don't have any ticks. Neutral cards cost the same for everybody, as I mentioned earlier, and so most cards that make other cards will make them neutral so that you don't have to pay extra multiple times. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of the the keywords, and the ticks. So what we'll do real quick is we'll just throw a bunch of cards in this deck with all the keywords so that we can try to see them in action. I might want to turn on all the colors so we'll just grab the cheapest ones of each one so that we can show you them working. I'm going to try to flex as often as possible and grab cards that I made, because why not? Grab a kudzu there. Regenerate. We got Rebound. You know that means we're getting the luckiest boy. What else do we got? We've got Untargetable. I don't think I've made any of those. Oh wait, yes I have. Good old Frenzied Hammerhead. Ward. Definitely made a few of those. The Sheep, I guess he cost 3 here. Where's my sheep at? Fluffiest boy. Oh, you know what? He doesn't have ward. He generates a card that gives you ward. So we're going to go ahead and grab Hecate's. Ward, we need Deadly. We'll just grab Scaled Predator. Actually, Scaled Predator doesn't always have it, so we'll grab one that always has it. We need Flying. Overrun. I tried to get in a meatball card with Overrun. It didn't go over so well with everybody. Here, we're going to grab Dream Eater because he has Agile and Overrun. So we'll cover 2 birds with 1 stone right there. And then we have Unblockable as, I believe, the last one. Alright. We don't have enough to make a deck there. So what we can actually do really quick is talk about the Hookwords. And we'll go ahead and throw those in there as well. So you have Summon, which if you're familiar with, Hearthstone is just a battle cry. It's basically something that it does as soon as it touches the field. So like this one here, it says Summon. This deals damage equal to its attack, to an enemy unit, and to itself. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we'll add that to the deck. That's Summon as a hook word. We have Entomb. Again, if you're familiar with Hearthstone, this is a death rattle. It basically means when it dies, it does something. So we'll grab this one. It's Entomb. Shuffle this card back into your deck. So that's Entomb. We have Feed, and Feed is without a doubt, I think, the most confusing hook word to new players. But basically, Feed means whatever it says happens to every card that you play after that card this turn. So I'm going to take this one because it's just really simple. It says Feed, gain flying until the end of next turn. So any card that I play after Angel Bread has flying until the end of next turn. So that's how Feed works. It's a little confusing at first, but I promise it's super simple. Basically, just look at whatever it says and know that every card you play after it will get that ability. And the last hook word is an active. And actives are something we have not talked about at all. An active is something that it can do instead of attacking or blocking this turn. In Magic the Gathering terms, it would be like a tap ability. So it'd be something you tapped to have the card do. Let's see if we can pick a very simple one. Alright, so King Candle here. He has an active. Destroy a friendly unit. If you do, draw 2 cards. So we'll go ahead and add him into the deck as well. And then, just for fun, we'll throw in a Sunflower, because why not? Alright, so let's go start up a game with this, and we will show you guys how all these keywords and hook words work. Alright. There we go. Look at that tempo. 1, 2, 3. Can't beat it. So we'll just go ahead and click done with that. Alright. So we're starting off with Spookiest Boy. So he has Flying. So to recap, that means only an enemy card with Flying could block him. And you can see he hovers above the board. Has a little shadow up under him. Has this little flying symbol. That's how you know. This reanimated Failwind is deadly. So that means anything that takes damage from him is going to get killed immediately, no matter how much health it has. This is the only card right now with fast. It hasn't really taken off in the community, but basically what it means is that it goes before all other cards. So if those become popular, that would mean that no matter who has initiative, they would happen first. Alright, so I'm going to attack with him, and because he used this card, it got flying for the turn, so you can see now he's hovering, and he has his little flying symbol. So that means if he blocks, he could stop this because he's got flying now. Let's go ahead and play King Cannibal and look at his active ability. Alright, so the thing about actives is that you choose to do those at the same time that you choose to play cards. So if I want to use this active, which I can make him kill another card and I get to draw 2, so that's his active ability. And you can hover over them if they have a target to see where that arrow is going. Right now it's going over to my Spookiest Boy. I'm going to go ahead and play my Luckiest Boy with Rebound. That means after he dies, he'll come right back to my hand, but he'll lose Rebound. Alright, so I killed him, I drew 2 cards. That's part of his active ability. He says, here you go, I have plenty. It's funny because he's a rabbit and he gives you a rabbit's foot. So, apparently he's a rabbit murderer. So, just to kind of go over what just happened, we leveled up, we got our rewards, and we got to see some. We have a flying reward for him with Cassiel, or Cassie as I like to call her. And with ours, we have a Hookword and Tomb, so that means when he dies, we'll get +2 max mana the next turn. Untargetable, we'll go ahead and throw him down, let you guys see what that looks like. And here we have a summon ability. It does damage equal to his attack to himself and one other unit, so we'll go ahead and kill this guy. And we'll just use this active because why not? Note that anything he plays will happen first because he has initiative. See, this came back to my hand, but it no longer has his rebound ability. He says, come on, dude, I need an upgrade. Because he's only got 1 health. You know, that's not enough. Robots are all about, at least blue robots, are all about buffing each other. So he's expected to come down with more attack. I'm going to go ahead and drop this duelist down. And I'm going to drop this elite down just because. So remember, duelist means during the play phase he can choose who he attacks and do that damage directly. You're actually probably going to get to see this Lizzo do that now. Yeah. So see, he killed our Courier Knight directly. He just attacked it. I didn't get to choose blockers for that because it was a duelist attack. Now you can see that he's untargetable. You'll see he's got a little sheen that goes over him every now and then, a little shimmer, and he's got the untargetable symbol. All of the keywords have a symbol like that, and so anytime you see a symbol off to the side, it means they either have a keyword or a hook word, and you can hover over the card and it'll actually tell you what it does. So no reason you should ever be confused. You can always read it and be right on board. Even something like summon, you can hover over it and it'll tell you what it does. Now I'm not going to attack with this turn, so you'll see that it will gain flying for that blocking phase. Note that untargetable does not mean it can't be blocked. It can be blocked. So he leveled up, so his Cassiel gets a little bonus there. And so this is ambush. I'm pretty sure we've covered most of them. If not, I think you guys probably have it anyway. But so I'm playing ambush, which means that this can block this turn, whereas normally it would not be able to. I'm going to go ahead and fight this with that to show you guys how duelist works, and we'll call this a video. See, maybe he'll attack with that, and I can block it, but he didn't. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you have any questions that I haven't covered, feel free to drop those in the comments. I'd gladly make a video to show you guys how to do anything you're interested in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. Something to remember is that any card you drafted, you can click it and it will be added to your deck, or you can keep no card and gain the amber instead. So you guys have a great one, and I'll see you again next time.